Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome to the channel. My name is Summer French, and on today's episode, I'm going to be doing a question and answer session of all the questions that you sent in anonymously. There's some wild ones in there. Let's go. Alright, the first one here says, let's hear... That's the wrong here. Y'all be killing me on this stuff. About you, Big Sar, your MOS, the units you've been in, and the things you've done. First off, that's a lot for me. What I want to say is my MOS is a 25 Zulu. I was a previous 25 Victor, a combat cameraman, a combat documentation production specialist, but once you become an E7, you move on to a 25 Zulu, which is a visual information chief, basically in charge of all the comcam. Some of the units that I've been to, man, I've been to a decent amount of almost every unit that you could think of. I was at Fort Bragg, where I was in PSYOP, 3rd Psychological Operation Battalion, Airborne. Then I slid down the street to 3rd Special Forces Group, where I was a ComCam NCOIC in 2015 and 2016. Then I went on to be an instructor for my MOS, where I taught 25 Victor, and then slid right across the street to the detachment, where I was a drill sergeant for AIT. And now currently at 55th Signal Company, here on Fort Meade, still, as a platoon sergeant. Now when it comes to places I've been to a lot of places, from Sicily to Germany to Jordan to Afghanistan to Kuwait to Qatar to Bahrain to a multitude of places in Key West and everything on the garrison side. I've been to a ton of places, a ton of missions. All right, number 2, who is your favorite SMA and why? These are the questions that get people in trouble. So first off, I'll say is I've only been in the Army for just over 12 years, so I've only had so many SMAs during my time. But for me, it's Sergeant Major Daly. He did so much for us, and the little things that affected me personally, right, as a male in the United States Army, from PT socks, black PT socks. I didn't want to wear white socks no more, okay? They're terrible, okay? Putting us in headphones in the gym, beautiful, right? Pinks and greens. I absolutely love pinks and greens. I think the ASU blues are awful. I can't stand them. Then he also relaxed the tattoo business. We got a little ways to go with that 1-inch, whatever. We can't. But I did just have the pleasure of meeting Sergeant Major of the Army Grinston just a few weeks ago when I got invited down there for that DC trip for all the influencers that the Army invited. I got to meet him. He was awesome, super open, super candid. It was a great time. All right, next question. The Army's biggest problem. Super loaded question. Super loaded question. So one of the Army's biggest problems to me has always been one of the reasons I started my page. And if you've been on my page for long enough, you know I say it quite often, why I started my page. Because once you become an E5, we stop developing you. We stop developing you, mentoring you, leading you. NCOPD is non-existent after that point. We don't help our leaders. And that's where I wanted to come in and develop our leaders of today, now, tomorrow, the future, everything. Because I think one of the biggest problems to me is developing and grooming our leaders, not just at the lowest ranks. We've got to think at our middle, senior, NCO ranks. We don't develop any of our leaders. They do it through experience. That's the biggest problem that the Army has, is dealing with and allowing our NCOs to just lead off of experience. We're not grooming. Next question, do you think you'll retire as an E9? I think so. I want to say yes. I think I'll make it there. It's just a matter of me selecting it and taking it if I still feel that that's the impact that I want to have. If I want it, I'm going to go get it. And you guys know me, my mindset. But do I think I'll retire as an E9? If I had to say so, I'd say yes. All right, here's a big one. Everybody's been asking me one. The thoughts on the summer uniforms. Let me tell you this. A lot of y'all have asked me why the hate, why I don't like it. Let me tell you. One of the reasons I don't like it is because when you put your patches here on the middle of the jacket, they're just floating in La La Land. They're just out there floating. Just my pumpkin patch, my instructor badge, they're just floating in La La Land. I don't like the way the uniform looks. I love the fabric. I think it's super light, great fabric. Not a fan of the pouches, even though they're just sticking out, they're just there. I'm not a fan of it. I'm just not a fan of it. Get over it. I don't like them. I don't have to like them. Leave me alone. Next question. What did you do before joining the Army? That is a lot. So let's go through a few of those. So before I joined the Army, I was actually lifting tile and doing tile and working out of a warehouse where I was actually like just working with my hand and building pallets of tile outside into the warehouse, and I was just a warehouse worker. Before that, I did a little bit of sales work. I did a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and I just didn't have a lot of ambition, a lot of drive. I didn't know where I was going in my life, and so I had a couple of these jobs that they just didn't work out. But I was very hands-on. My dad always told me to be hands-on. I'm very hands-on with what I do. I like to learn on my hands. I like to take something apart, build it, put it back together, fix it myself. Before I joined the military, I had a lot of that going on. All right, what do you do with a bad NCO? Ooh, this is a good question. So the common answer for this is, when you show me a bad NCO, when you show me an unmotivated soldier, I say, show me their team leader, show me their squad leader, and show me their platoon sergeant. Because that's where it starts. And what people don't understand is, what do you do with a bad NCO? What do you do with a bad leader? What you need to do is find out who's above them. And the odds are, in the military, we focus so much on the junior enlisted. And I'm not saying not to. But if you focus on the main leaders, the platoon sergeants, the squad leaders, the team leaders, that will trickle down and everybody will be great. Everybody will be moving forward. Tons of discipline, tons of motivation. They'll all have it. So for me, when you show me what do you do with the bad NCO, I say, let me see their team leader, let me see their squad leader, let me see their platoon sergeant, and let me see, are they motivated? Because if they're not, that's where I'm gonna start. Because if I get a platoon sergeant that's motivated, if I get a squad leader that's motivated, I'm gonna have a team leader, an NCO that's motivated, that's disciplined, that's getting after it. So to me, that's what I would do for that situation, for a bad NCO, is not to just break them down and shatter them down. It's to find out what's driving them. And if there's nothing driving them, then they're probably a bad NCO. All right, look at this. Have I ever felt like leadership failed you? And if so, how? I had to do it. There's a die in there. Have I ever felt that leadership failed me? Absolutely. And if so, how? There's times in the military where you're going to bust your ass unbelievably. People are not going to see the behind the scenes of how much work you put into something, how much of your life, how much sacrifice it took from you, from your family, from your soldiers, from your friends to build something, some training, some anything. And when they don't see that, and then when it gets executed, it's executed so flawlessly and it works out perfect, and everybody's, oh my, this was amazing, what a great event, what a great thing, I can't believe you did this is awesome. And then you get nothing for it. You know, not even the recognition. No one cares about awards. I don't care about awards. I don't care about none of it. But when you don't get that gratitude saying, I can't believe you built this, it can be a really bad moment. It can be a really bad moment when you do that. But the thing that I fall back on for me is I always fall back on the soldiers know. The soldiers know who built that. The NCOs in the platoon, the squad, or whatever, they know who built that. They know who's doing this. They know who's making the engine run. They know. And as long as they do, you rest your shoulders at night and you know you're good. You know you're good. All right. How do you really feel about fresh lieutenants out of ROTC as far as respect? As far as respect. So what I would say for you is, I don't treat them any differently than I would any other soldier, any other junior enlisted. The thing that I'll say is, it really depends on the person. I have some specialists that are damn near operating as E5s or E6s because I trust them. They think, they know what they're doing, they can problem solve, they can go through those things and make educated decisions and leadership decisions. And that same applies to an LT that's coming straight out of ROTC, green to gold, coming fresh to the company as a young 22, 23-year-old lieutenant, and they come in. Some of them are super on their stuff, and some of them are just that, a young private or a young lieutenant, and they don't know anything about the military. The thing that I'll tell you about the military is it takes time to learn everything of how this is done in the military, how this is done in the military. We don't do it like this. We don't do it. That takes a lot of time and a lot of experience. So when it comes to those LTs, respect is never not there. It's always there. But how you interact and how you figure out if that LT is that seasoned specialist or that just, you know, I'm brand new on the scene. That's a big deal, and you got to figure that out. All right, what are your strengths and weaknesses within the Army? Great question. You guys know first and foremost, you know that my strength is my mindset and my resiliency. Put those two together, mindset, resiliency, I got both of them. I will not be stopped in my head. I know I'm the best in the business. I know I'm going to fail. I know I'm going to succeed. I know I'm never going to quit. And for me, that's all I need. I know the Army is going to beat my ass sometimes. I'm not going to get the recognition that I get. I'm not going to get some of the stuff that I deserve. I know that, and I already know that. But I love it, and that's okay because I have the mindset and the resiliency to bounce back and forth and be able to have both. Some of my weaknesses, I think no matter what you do in the military, your goal is to be empathetic and sympathetic and be able to turn that switch back on and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I learned a lot of that as a drill sergeant. When it's time to be sympathetic, when it's time to be empathetic, when it's time to swing the hammer, when it's time to boost somebody up. And I think weakness for me is that I care so much that I can get so involved with the soldier, their life, their family, and everything that they're going on. And I have to make sure that no matter what I do, I don't waver on my integrity and doing the right thing every single time, no matter how hard that is sometimes when you're dealing with a decision, a soldier, a friend, and everything like that. So that's something that I think every leader genuinely goes through and challenges every single day. All right, another one. Can you ask to have your jump status revoked but still keep your wings? So this is a simple question. It really depends on where you're at in your unit, right? If you're getting ready to PCS or leave, they might pull you off jump status and allow somebody else to get into that rec, so that way they can go to school and then get on jump status. You'll never lose your wings, okay? Listen up, Airborne, everybody in here. You'll never lose your wings. Whether you have a backer on those wings, a flash that goes behind it on your ASUs that says you're on jump status, you'll lose that. You're either on jump status or you're not. You're either getting paid or you're not. You'll either have a backer around it or you're not. So if you see a soldier with wings on their ASUs and there's no backer behind it, they're not on jump status, but they're still airborne qualified. Okay? But if they do have it and they have boots on, that means they're currently jumping 4 times a year. But yes, you can pull out if you're communicating with your platoon sergeant and stuff like this, but it really, really depends on the unit. All right, have you heard of the Yellow Book 1CD? I have not. Let me take a look. All right, so when I find it on here, it says 1st Cavalry Division Standards Book. All right, the Yellow Book is the division standard book and provides baseline expectations and standards, and the 1st Cav leaders and troops will have access to a digitally printed book. I have to dive into this book. All right, I got a digital copy of it now. Let me dive into that book. Let me see what you got working there. Might be something to tap into. Thank you. All right, here's another one. How can you improve your marksmanship skills? To me, this is easy. When it comes to marksmanship skills, one, you got to shoot more than twice a year. A lot of people shoot twice a year, maybe even once a year, and then they wonder, why am I not shooting expert again? I always shoot expert. Well, in basic training, you fired your weapon almost every week, 2-3 times a week, and you had your weapon in your hand every single moment of the day. And then you go back to touching your weapon for a couple hours on the range. So more training, more time on the range is big. Second thing is keep that same sight picture. When you're looking down your weapon, a lot of people will go to 0 and they'll fire around and reset their entire sight picture. Don't do that when you're zeroing. When you're zeroing, keep that same sight picture, fire, 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 do those 5 rounds, and then go down there, come back, make your adjustments. Sight picture is absolutely big. Number 3, the third thing that I would tell you to do is that when you're going to find that next target you're gonna hit down range, I want you to find it from the bottom up. Right? And when you go to the bottom up, and then when you get in that normal breath pause, pull the trigger, right? So you need to focus on those little things that will keep you moving in the right direction, and it'll better your marksmanship skills. Bottom up. There's 3 of them in there. Okay. All right, so that's gonna do it for today's question and answer session. I'm gonna do more of these. Keep sending them to me. I'm gonna keep answering them. Keep doing it right here in front of you. Hey, I wanna thank you for joining the channel, joining this episode, and as always, you know me. Dominate the day.